Hey everyone,
Hello.
we have sorted out our little difficulties. Welcome to our Sibuya Wilderness live chat on Facebook,
Lockdown session.
hosted by the Expedition Project. Um, if you haven't heard about the Expedition Project yet, go definitely check out his page and support Roger. He's a very, very good guy. Is involved with a lot of different projects, reaching out to a lot of people, and yeah. Now there is a few more coming up, Facebook live sessions coming up through the Expedition Project. One is on the 10th, that's Kondo, and on the 13th,
The Kuranes Foundation.
the Kuranes Foundation, they're next door here. So before we start, we should probably be introducing ourselves first. I'm Pablo.
I'm Scott.
Okay. And we're the Sibuya Wilderness Experience team, alongside Maddie and Paul and Rita here and our doggies at Untitled Lodge. We are running a nature conservation and marine conservation program. We're involved in community development or upliftment, and we have a sustainability project on the go, which some of you might have seen progress of on our Instagram channel, Sibuya Wilderness, or via Facebook. If you haven't, definitely go check it out. Interesting things going on here. So we're keeping busy, and during the lockdown at least, we can get some work done on Antaka itself, while it's unfortunately for us not possible to go onto the reserve at this point.
Yeah.
So confined to a rather nice space, I have to say. So for all of you locked up in the cubicle, I feel sorry for you.
We are very privileged here in Taka. Beautiful.
But yeah, definitely make sure to come to visit us. So yeah, I want to quickly run through our program details, or some of it that it is we're doing. So as I said, we are busy in all kinds of conservation, starting in the marine side and the estuaries in town. We've got the Bushmans and the Kurika.
So we focus on, water quality sampling, marine studies, surveys of the river, and assessing and monitoring the conditions there.
Yeah, then we do work on Sibuya Game Reserve, which is just on the road from us, about 5-minute drive. Yeah, we're helping out with all sorts of things on the farm, starting on surveys of carrying capacity and felt management. Then we're doing rounder watch and night drives. We're supporting our anti-poaching unit. And we do a lot of wildlife tracking and monitoring. We've actually had a few questions regarding that, but we'll get to that now. And yeah, then in the community, we're involved with a nice project in Marcel, which is run by Monica and Terry Balanga. If you're out there and you can hear us, give us a shout. Also very good people. Find out about what it is they're doing, Marcel Super Kitchen. And yeah, then our unsustainability projects are now sort of have reached kind of a peak for us. So we are busy setting up an aquaponics system. For those of you who haven't heard about aquaponics before, definitely go check it out.
Search it, have a look at it. It's a very cool concept.
It is insanely interesting what's possible. Oh well, I guess they've known about it for a while, but anyway. So yeah,
Revolutionary.
Alongside a few other projects, that is pretty much what it is we're doing on an ongoing basis. So what we used to be doing until we've hit a complete travel ban in South Africa, well, and globally pretty much. So at this point, there's no one here except us, and yeah, we're keeping ourselves busy, but as we are also just a company that started up a year ago, it is tough times, which I'm sure we'll get through. There's a nice family vibe going on in Taka, and it's nice that everyone is keep pulling together and pulling in the same direction. But yeah. So for those of you who have just joined us, hello again.
Hello.
My name is Pablo.
I'm Scott.
Scotty. Most of you will probably know us. Yeah, so let's see if we have some questions on the go. I'm going to start with Sue. She's one of our former volunteers from last year in May, I believe. And Tom, of course. I haven't forgotten about you, Tom.
What's up, Tom?
So first question is here, do you guys have camera traps set up to see what's happening on the reserve even while you're having to be quarantining?
It explodes.
Funny enough, we do have a camera trap on the
reserve.
reserve, which we can't get to, so
It's been there for quite some time, yep.
likely it's already dead, battery is dead and SD card is most likely full, so they are there, but not right now.
Right now it's not an essential service, so we're not allowed to leave the game or our entire plot to the game reserve unnecessarily. Keep us at home here. Keep us on lockdown and curb the spread of the coronavirus.
Okay, next question, or part of it, if so, seeing any interesting activity, unfortunately, not during quarantine. So the next question is, what changes have had to be made to managing the reserve during this time of lockdown? So for Sibuya, some services are
Necessary.
implied to be essential or necessary.
Yeah.
Like the protection of the rhino is still going on.
Maintenance of the game zone, fences, keep the animals in, kind
That's
of
right.
wandering around.
Yeah. So maintenance still has to be done. They have people on the job, so they've got a dedicated maintenance team, and they've got a dedicated anti-poaching unit. So while all of this is going on, we are, well, us ourselves, we're not on the reserve, but the reserve obviously is still managing what it has to manage.
And being looked after.
Yeah, that's right. But it is essential services. So like anything that's essential for you, just think about a game reserve. What is essential to keep a
Vets,
game reserve running?
looking after animals,
They're still on the go.
they don't go on a break.
So, what risks and fears are you guys anticipating could arise during the lockdown? I'm not sure I understand this question correctly. Are we risk for or fears for ourselves or for anyone or for the country?
For the animals or for the company itself? Or
I'm not entirely sure. So let's
come back to that later.
Yeah, let's skip that one for now. Apart from the anti-poaching effort, with other aspects of reserve management are vital. That will cause serious problems for park health with a several week or month suspension. So obviously the game reserves or any game reserve in itself lives off of the tourists coming to support the initiative that they have got going on there. That's pretty much the same all over. So a game reserve is also a business, and a business has to in some way or another sustain itself and its employees. It's difficult enough now that we don't have any tourists, so you can literally take any tourism destination pretty much globally at this point, and
Having a tough time. Yeah.
exactly. There's no stream of income from that source. Tourists there is none. So
Let's get a bit to some questions.
yeah, we've got another question here from Digwet Wildlife Conservation Society. What does a regular day look like for you guys now South Africa is in lockdown? So a typical day starts about 7 in the morning. We wake up just as usual. We go and have a cup of coffee in the kitchen. We discuss what it is we're doing today in detail, and then we go about our jobs. So lately it's got a lot to do with aquaponics.
Yeah.
Yeah, building roofs, digging holes, digging more holes, planting poles.
The main thing right now is that we stay on site. So any of the projects that we're doing are within Intaka, going through past projects that we haven't completed or coming to complete, and also the aquaponics system that we are busy setting up here at Intaka Lodge.
Okay. Yeah, and then that sums it up pretty nicely, I think. We've got another question coming from Terry Lee Honeyball. What are the first plants you'll plant in your aquaponics? Okay, so by principle, in an aquaponic system, there is what is called a cycling stage in the beginning, where the fish are not yet part of the system, and it's being fed with an organic solution of nutrients, which is very high in nitrogen. Nitrogen is demanded by all plants in different amounts, depending on the plant and depending on the stage that it grows, i.e. vegetative stage or flowering, fruiting stage. So in the beginning, while there's just a high load of nitrogen, we're going to be planting high nitrogen requirement plants, or plants that require a high load of nitrogen, which is
Leafy
lettuce,
greens, yeah.
all sorts of leafy greens, kale, whatever you can think of that's green and doesn't have pretty flowers or fruits.
You can imagine in the beginning of the aquaponic system, we're creating an ecosystem for the whole non-chemical, organic biochemistry system happens together. And for that, it takes time, up to 6 months to 2 years to actually fully establish the system, the aquaponics, to produce. So it takes some time to establish what plants we can have there.
Yeah, so first plants will definitely be leafy greens, and from then, depending on the succession that is happening in our system on a biological basis, that will then determine when we are able to plant fruiting crops like tomatoes, peppers, chilies, pretty much anything you can think of. With the exception of carrots and potatoes. They do not grow in aquaponics. Or potatoes and sweet potatoes anyway. Carrots, I don't know, some people might have found a way by now. But yeah, so that's about it. We've got another question here from Malian. She's asking, what projects have you used your eco-bricks for, community or their own property so far? So our eco-brick production was until pretty much the end of the beginning of our lockdown session, where the corona pandemic started up in the beginning stages. Then we had an upgrade to our recycling initiative that we have and sort of streamlined the whole process of doing eco-bricks. Now our eco-brick production obviously is taking a bit of a step back because we can't deliver them anywhere. And so far we're stocking up to make a big delivery. More than likely, well, it'll definitely go to the community one way or another. It's
the Bush Willow Primary School down the road takes in the eco bricks to construct for the educational facilities that they have there.
Most likely it'll be the primary school. But yeah, eco brick production has sort of taken a step back and is sort of in the background for now. While we've got the aquaponics, that is a big project that we want to finish as quickly as possible. Obviously, I mean, especially in times like this, you realize how important it can be to not having to rely on other people to produce food for you. You know, if you produce your own food, then basically anything outside your gates can happen, and you can still look after yourself in one way or another. But yeah, let's see what else we have. Another one from Terry Lee Honeyball. Have we been able to monitor the river during the lockdown? If so, have you noticed any changes in the river system? Again, unfortunately, any type of conservation work, especially outside of the reserve, even more so,
the river is a public area,
is unfortunately not possible at this point. So in certain areas of the country, most of these questions are being asked by people in the UK, I believe. There is no, well, they've sent the military into a fair few cities now, and there is some rather hilarious videos out there where the MPs make people do funny things, you know, make them do frog hops and sit-ups and push-ups and all sorts. But yeah, so unfortunately that's also no from our side. We wish we had so many nice days. How nice would it have been to go into the river and then go do some fishing while we do some water tests as well.
Must be so peaceful down there without many mud boats.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Okay. So one from Phil Turner. How's it, Phil?
What's up?
Thanks for letting your daughter stay a bit longer. Is aquaponics the way forward for Antaka? Does it depend on the soil you have around, or which you have around, which plants, veg grow best?
The climate would have a factor to that. But with the soil, not so much with the aquaponic system that runs on fresh water and fish.
So yeah, two-part question. Aquaponics is definitely the way forward, not only for Antaka, but just full stop. Yeah, it is an amazing system that has got no